What's up, Cavs fans? Spencer German, Spencer Davies. No, we did not call each other and plan this outfit. So apologies there if you're seeing double. I mean, I just happen to have the same name as well. But no, we appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for our live post-game edition of Courtside with the Cavs, part of the Cavs Roundtable YouTube channel, where you can find plenty more content from tonight, press conferences, all that great stuff after the Cavaliers took down the Indiana Pacers tonight, 120-109. Spence, so an interesting matchup. Obviously, the Pacers aren't the same team they were back in May, but even Donovan Mitchell admitted, there were some feelings there. They knew that this was the team that they lost to in the playoffs, and you want to beat them. You want to show them up a little bit on your home floor as they kind of come back here. Listen, there was a moment there in the fourth quarter where the Pacers made it a little bit interesting. They went on a 12-2 run to sort of open up the fourth quarter till the halfway point of it. And then the Cavaliers went on like a 10-2 run in response and sort of put it away. But it was kind of oh no, they're doing it again. This reminds me of the playoffs all over again. It's sort of one of those haunting moments for a moment there. And then the Cavaliers took care of business. There's a lot to get into, especially on the offensive end of the floor with Darius Garland and Jaylon Tyson back in the fold here. But just your overall thoughts on the team's performance tonight.
Yeah, I thought in the second half that they ran away with it. Yes, the Pacers did their Indiana thing where they started to come back, mounted that run. TJ McConnell, big part of that, Andrew Nembhard had a heck of a game. Kenny said they still haven't found a way to stop that guy. And they did have three guys they're playing well tonight. It was Nembhard, it was Siakam, and it was Mathurin. So they had their guys that were a part of that team last year and played a big role. I know that Halliburton's out. I know that Neesmith's out. But that still is those guys, those core guys understand what it's like to be on that big stage. So they're still professionals. Know that the Cavs had to feel a certain type of way, like you're saying. Darius Garland admitted it too. It's just different when you see those colors back in your building and you understand that that's who was responsible for the end of your season. So they came out, took care of business tonight. Very nice for the Cavs to actually get some bodies back with DG. Jaylon Tyson was basically playing a perfect game until he missed his last 3-point shot. And man, I'll tell you what, just the joy and the juice that those guys bring back to the table is unmatched. And the emotional lift, I think, is even bigger than the on-court lift, but the on-court lift is also pretty big.
Well, the emotional lift, I think, translates to the on-court part of it. Let's start with Darius because obviously this was kind of his second return this season. He obviously was coming back from the broken toe or the left big toe injury where he had the surgery, comes back, plays a couple games, re-injures the toe, not quite as severely, just a contusion, misses several more games, and now he comes back again. But Spence, even that first time back to this time, you just saw the difference that he makes when he's out on the floor on the offensive end of things, how the spacing and him being another threat with the basketball just changes so much about the dynamics of this thing. Frees guys up. The number of times that you saw Garland drive and then kick and then swing pass and then swing pass and then swing pass to an open guy in the corner. I mean, it just makes everything function so much better when he's out there. And I think that was on full display yet again tonight as he made his second return to the floor for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, the starting five, Spence, combined for 108 of the 120 points that they scored tonight. That's pretty telling. Like when he was out there with that group, they were fluid, they were efficient, they were really good, and it was the Cavaliers basketball that we got used to seeing a ton, obviously, last season.
I feel like I'm yelling at a wall every time Darius Garland comes in. I'm like, do you see? Do you see what happens when he's in? He just changes the dynamic. He changes the calculus. And we're going to get into what he does for Evan Mobley. But first, for him, just to be able to break the paint and find guys in the corner to start that swing, that is everything. Now, DeAndre Hunter's in the corner. You didn't see DG play too much with DeAndre, this season yet. Like you have Dean Wade in the corner, who's always good at moving the ball. When he's in there with Lonzo and you have two ball handlers, when he's in there with Lonzo and Donovan Mitchell and you have three ball handlers, and then all of them are capable on, each end of the floor. So it's a completely different game when Darius is out there. You have someone that can get advantages, create, and also get to his own. Had 7 free throw attempts in the first half, made all 7, did a really good job, had 18, had the 3-point working, turning the corner, pick and roll, getting it to Evan in the short roll where he can play make out of there. And we'll get more into detail with that, like I said. But I mean, Darius makes the difference for this offense. And I've tried to tell people, I don't know why people play dumb with the Cavs offense and see the Donovan Mitchell starting at point guard, right? And Evan Mobley's having his high usage that he has to start the season. And they're like, oh, I wonder why things took a step back. Like, you're actually missing pieces, guys. And I know this isn't the greatest example with a hampered Pacers team that didn't have Aaron Nesmith, doesn't have Tyrese Halliburton. But in the 3.5 games that Darius has played so far, have you not seen a different Cavs team?
Yeah.
Have you not? Is the evidence not there? Are you guys still somehow skeptical when you watch that? Because I don't know how you can be when you see the difference it makes with the energy in the ball. And like you said, the swing. I just saw pop. I saw pop tonight, and I saw a lot of movement, off-ball movement, and guys love to play with Darius Garland.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. There's just so much more fluidity with the offense when he's out there, and it looks totally different from what you've seen when he's not there, frankly. And I do think that should be something people take note of. That is something people should be aware of. It doesn't have to be this like Donovan versus Darius. Like, I think we can sort of put that on the back burner for now while we're in the middle of the season and just realize like his impact is massive. And you mentioned it and hinted at it, but the impact on Evan Mobley, I think, is huge and noticeable as well, because I thought Evan was like at his best tonight. And listen, I get it. I know that they're selling this thing as Evan has to be able to take over. Evan has to be able to ball handle. Evan has to be able to bring the ball up the floor. I get all that. But in a role like tonight, where he didn't have to do as much of that, and he could just kind of operate, hey, we're going to get you the ball inside, allow you to sort of work your way to the basket. He was backing guys down a lot tonight, which is a little bit different for him. But still, it was that attacking the basket. It was getting down there and just getting the easy buckets. And then, like, that led to later in the game, he hit a 3 in the fourth quarter that kind of was like the game sealer. It was like when they were in the midst of that run I mentioned, he hits this 3-pointer, and it's like, okay, that's game. And all of a sudden you get the Evan Mobley that I think people were hoping to see, and him sort of taking that next step. He finished with 20 points, had 12 boards to go along with it. 22 points, 12 boards to go along with it. Like, that, if that's the Evan Mobley that you're going to get, that's the Evan Mobley that this team needs more consistently to be able to contend and compete for championships that we're talking about. I know they want him to do the ball handling stuff, but having DG out there allows him to kind of take a step back off of that, and I think you see him thrive in this role a ton.
You can always go back to your bread and butter.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that's comforting for Evan. And I think when he's out there with the guy that they say that they're building around, I think that there's a calmness to him, you know? And the competitive dog comes out in him too when DG's out there, because DG's always telling him, I want angry Ev. And you saw angry Ev in the first quarter because he was backing down Isaiah Jackson. He was backing down Pascal Siakam and doing it on the baseline and dunking, right? Like, you don't see that much from Evan right now. Like, he's been more perimeter oriented. He's been a little bit different in his approach because they are asking a lot of him, and that's understandable. But when DG's out there, I feel like it's like, all right,
this game felt like
what I'm doing.
This game felt like a palate cleanser.
Sure.
And I'm not saying he can't do those things that they're asking him to do at some point. I know it's going to be a process, but sometimes you just need to go back to like old reliable, like go back to what got you here, go back to what you're good at, that we know you're good at already. And it felt like tonight he did that, and I think this was him at his best.
No, yeah, I think so too. And when you get him in the pocket, you know that Evan's a good playmaker. We already know that. My thing that I liked to see was that he got him the ball on the perimeter, and then Evan started to drive off of closeouts, and he started to drive and kick. When you've got a 7-footer driving and kicking,
yeah, it's huge.
And then they're swinging the ball from there, then you're going to be in rotation. You're going to be scrambling your butts off and trying to find the right way to close out on a 3-point shooter. And what Kenny said, there were like 4 or 5 shooters out there on the floor at the same time with him. So pick your poison, as Craig Porter Jr. likes to say, pick your poison with this team. And that's what made him so deadly last year, is it not?
Yeah.
So I saw glimpses of last year tonight, and it's no surprise, it's no coincidence that in the 2 games that Darius played before this, I said the same exact thing. So once again, I will say, stop playing dumb with this offense.
Spin's always right. We're always wrong. I'm kidding. Listen, we also have to talk about Jaylon's return tonight.
Oh my gosh.
He was phenomenal once again. Like you mentioned, he was playing a near perfect game up until he missed his last 3-point shot of the game. But he had 6 points entering the third quarter, scored 8 in that quarter, finished with 14 total. I actually said at the time, it was like still like 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and I said, dude, his career high is 19. He's going to break that tonight. And then he ended up not scoring again the rest of the night just by nature of how the game kind of flowed from there. But like, listen, Darius brings something from a standpoint of like, he's played with these guys a long time. He knows what works. He's a scoring threat that defenses are accounting for. But Jaylon brings like that energy. And there's a grittiness that this team seems to play with more when he's out there. There's just something different about like when he's out there on the floor that you notice with this team. And I think that was on full display tonight. Another great performance from him, another double-digit scoring night. And you're seeing him continue to make an impact. I felt bad he missed some time with the concussion. It sounded like it was pretty tough for him for a few days there. But I think having him back is massive. And obviously, as they get back healthier, his role will continue to expand and change and evolve. And it seems like he's one to embrace whatever he has to do.
Kenny's not going to be able to take him out of the rotation. I'll tell you that much, man.
Well, and Kenny even said he's doing all the role player things. He's scrappy. He's getting boards. He's getting steals. He's getting blocks. He's scoring when he needs to. And that's kind of what we envisioned his role being when the season started as well.
He said he's playing like a 10-year vet. And what's the last time we talked to Kenny about Jaylon when he played at home, right? He was like, you're going to make a lot of money in this league if you just do what you're doing for us. And it's going to be a $60 million player, right? Like, so that I think itself shows the adaptability of what Jaylon Tyson is doing. Because in college, it was more or less he was the guy. He was the scoring guy. He was the playmaker. This team, they got those guys. So you know what you need to do? You need to knock down your open shots. You need to make the right plays, make the right next pass, and you need to pick up full, play defense, and grab boards. That's what your role is boiled down to, and Jaylon Tyson understands that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's making it so easy for him to buy in, because when there's actually something that's defined, it's easier for a young player to get into that. And there's going to be mistakes along the way, and we know that. But, man, I'll tell you what, the pop passes that he had today, just from the middle of the floor, he gets to in the middle of that zone sometimes and is able to make those quick touch passes, similar to like Alonzo Ball. Like Lonzo can do it at a level nobody else can do it, don't get me wrong. But, like, you're in the middle of the floor, and Jaylon's just finding the next guy. Or he had a nice two-man game with Evan Mobley in the first quarter that really stuck out to me. JT, man, he's a player, and I think that he's not going anywhere. His role is cemented right now. And I think even when Max Strus does come back, or after that New Year or whatever, and it's not going to change, because
it's going to be interesting to see how
he's played his way right into the heart of this team. They love him. They love seeing his progression, and it's tough to stop him right now from wanting the ball more than anybody else. I'll tell you that.
It'll be interesting to see how Kenny works on getting Max Strus acclimated when he is back.
Yeah.
Because, listen, that guy was an important role player, I think, for this team last year. But, there's other guys sort of taking the reins from that as well and taking some of what he does. So, it's a good problem to have. But I'm just saying it will be interesting to see. For sure.
Well, look at this. I mean, they didn't even have Sam Merrill tonight. So that's another body
shooter
in the
they were missing.
They were missing Jared Allen tonight.
Yeah.
They're missing Max Strus. Dude, you have a lot of good players.
Yeah.
And you have a legitimate rotational question, too, because who's going to play? Like, is Craig Porter Jr. going to be an odd man out? Can that happen? Because he's been playing so dang good this year. But there are only so many spots available. So, like, how does that work out? Like, we didn't even talk about this tonight. DeAndre Hunter is in the starting lineup and pretty much sure that he's going to be a starting 3 or starting 4 for them. He came out and had a 20-point night tonight too, and no one's talking about that because
he's had a couple games in a row here where I felt like that's the DeAndre Hunter that you
big
need.
Time in the fourth, by the way. Those two answers after the Pacers did go on that 12-0 run. Hunter had a nice bucket inside through traffic, and then he drove on his own to get another one, little scoop layup off the glass. So this is a good problem to have if you're the Cavs, because if you start to get bodies back and you start to understand the kind of depth you have, then you're able to rely on everybody.
I want to come back to sort of the injury thing here in a second, but I got to say, like, is there anything else we can say about Donovan Mitchell at this point? 32 points tonight. It's his 9th game. He's played 15 this season. 9th time already that he scored 30-plus points. He's firmly in the MVP conversation. I mean, he has to be.
One of the quietest 32.9 nights.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know you're probably there's a lot of concerns about his usage right now and how much he's had to kind of carry the workload. Getting DG back again helps with that a little bit. And I do think you need to monitor that throughout the season. You can't necessarily part of the reason they moved on from JB Bickerstaff was because he was using Donovan too much. He was relying on Donovan too much. So it can't become like a crutch for you. But like when he's called upon, at least at this stage, and when he's asked to do a lot, man, does he show up and show out. And he did it again tonight with 32 points.
34 minutes, too, is a lot healthier than a 38 to 39-minute night, is it not? Like, so that also, you're able to put DG out there. You're able to put Lonzo out there, Craig, all of these guys that have played significant minutes for the Cavs in terms of just the importance of them. It's good. It's a good sign because Donovan has, especially the last 2-3 games, starting to see that downhill Don again. He's starting to get to the paint. He's starting to get to the free throw line. And then he's working inside out. And that's the big thing with Don, I think, is when he's able to work both in the paint and from the perimeter, because you're screwed at that point.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at creating space for himself. Now you got somebody else creating space for him. That's the element that, again, DG brings. That's the element with a lot of this spacing that the Cavs have when they are at more close to full health. So
yeah.
Donovan, we know individually he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to have that step back left 3-point shot the entire season. This is what he does. He's going to have that in the playoffs. It's a beautiful thing. But he's scarier when Donovan is a running back.
Yeah.
And he gets to the paint and he's starting to create contact. He did have a little scare there in the first quarter after a 3-point shot. I think he missed, and then he came up hobbling a little bit, but he was fine. He came back to the bench. All good. But you could tell that some of the usage has probably caught up to him a bit.
Yeah.
Because it is, we're, 16 games in? 17?
And they played every other day, and they still have another one on Sunday, obviously.
Another one on Sunday.
A couple other things. Cavs won the rebounding matchup tonight, 52-43.
Big time by
That's
Evan
solid.
Mobley, by the way.
Yeah,
Evan
12
Mobley.
from him.
Hunter. Can we talk about how good Hunter's been on the glass this year? That's a difference.
He had 7 tonight as well.
Yeah.
8 for Jaylon Tyson, which was that scrappiness we talked about. Him
6 for Lonzo Ball.
And
Lonzo
also
with the weirdest box scores ever this year. I love it. It's like 6. It's like 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and like 1 point. Like, it's just how Lonzo operates.
Also, I'll say this: like some of those long rebounds that we said have like sort of cost the Cavs at times this year. I felt like they were winning those tonight, chasing after those, and that was good to see. Because a lot of times rebounds we say are like an effort thing, and sometimes those long ones are harder because you don't know the trajectory. I also wondered if like not having Jared out there was a factor in that, because Jared is going to get those ones close to the glass a lot, but some of those ones that kind of deflect out when you're more spaced out, I think that helps the Cavs in terms of trying to track some of those down. If you're going to gripe about one thing, Spence, it might be just like maybe you want a little bit more from the bench tonight. They were 0 from 3. Only scored, like I said, the starter scored 108 of the 120 points tonight.
I thought Lonzo and Dean played well.
And Lonzo's role is a little bit different, right? Like, you're not necessarily looking at him as like a score first guy, and he's making some of these passes where you're just like, I mean, what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
But
like, I think you want a little bit more from your bench, but that also goes along with certain guys are missing and not in this rotation right now.
Well, here's the thing, too. Larry Nance Jr., after a couple of games not playing, back into the lineup, starts the game out with a nice pick 6, gets a dunk. I'm like, all right, that's going to get him going. And then the 3-point shot
off
was
the backboard.
ugly, and then you had
what happened? What happened? We were there in New York, and he hit 2 threes in that game. And he hasn't hit, or did he hit 3? No, I think he hit 2.
Well,
he hasn't hit 2 in a game since.
Junior will be the first to tell you that he is playing not good basketball.
That's why I love him.
Now. He will be the first to tell you that. I'll say this, man. Like, mental is a big thing. Mental is a huge thing, and he's probably pressing a little bit, maybe because Thomas Bryant was playing ahead of him the last couple of games. You have Nae'Qwan Tomlin playing ahead of him the last couple of games, too, a two-way player, which by all means he should be because of his energy and the way he's just brings the life to the party, right? But Larry's probably feeling a little bit that way right now. And
that's true.
He's the one who said that he can help this team and that he can do stuff that will benefit the Cavs, especially in the postseason. And right now it's not happening. But I promise you he's going to figure it out. Yeah. Hopefully it's not anything to deal with like any kind of injuries or anything like that. But Junior's just not right now. And hopefully he gets it back. He was at least playable tonight. That's the thing. Yeah. He was at least playable. I think he does good with like Dean Wade in the lineup and like Lonzo, a little bit of familiarity there.
Well, and listen, if he can get back to playing at a better level, like I said, part of the reason I like that signing was he's a stretch type player. Like he can play inside, but he can knock down threes. You need some of that versatility in these lineups, especially when you have J.A., who's not really that type of guy. So I was excited about that. And I think that first game of the season, you're like, this is exactly what you need from Larry Nance Jr. I hope he can sort of snap out of it and get back to that at some point. Maybe it'll take him to like the All-Star break and he gets off his feet and he can kind of, maybe it's something like that. But you'll want him down the stretch. Let's see what this season kind of holds for him. But obviously off to a rough start. Spencer, the last thing I just want to kind of hit on here was like, now that DG is back, because we've been sort of saying to people, pump the brakes on trying to like really grade these guys off of what you're seeing so far and all this different stuff. At what point do you feel like we can start to actually say like, okay, this is more who that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like rush this thing, but if DG can stay healthy now and the offense can, I understand they're still going to be missing guys, but like if DG can stay healthy now, does it feel like this can start to be where now we turn on our antennas a little bit more and we're like, okay, now we're assessing you from a different level. Like, what does the offense look like more consistently with him out there and those types of things? Because I do think Cavs fans do want to start. They don't want to just sit there and be like every night, like, well, I can't really say much from that game because this guy was missing. Like, they want to be able to start to feel like you're getting some semblance of this is what it's going to be late in the season when it really matters. And I think with DG back, you start to get that feeling a little bit.
Well, I thought the regular season didn't matter, first of all. It doesn't matter.
Well, I never said that.
No, it matters when they lose. That's what it matters. No, I'm playing. But it's funny you asked that because Kenny was asked that same thing. You know, usually you said like you wouldn't go by 10-game increments, and usually
he said that at the beginning of the year.
At the beginning of the season, he's like, like give it like 15 games, like, and it's probably a good enough sample size. Tim Alcorn asked him about that the other day. He's like, well, can I get 25 now? Like, because
he hasn't had his guys.
It's real. They did not have their guys for so long, and people can view that as an excuse as much as they want to, but play style matters, the energy, the emotion matters, and I see a completely different team when Darius is out there, no matter what happens. Like, it's just there are certain guys who can organize, who can conduct, and he's one of their probably two guys that can do that. Yeah. And that's Lonzo is the other, I think. Yeah. So Darius coming back and doing that tonight, it's a great sign. And he even prayed to the heavens when he was in the press conference. He's like, came out alive, came out healthy, even though he had a stinger at the end of the game. But it's definitely sorely missed to see DG out there. And it changes them. It changes them, guys. He's a big, big piece of this, and there's a reason that they've invested so much time into it.
Yeah. Well, there you have it from Spence, and I think I agree. Now that DG's out there, if he can stay healthy, this is where I think you can start to really assess this team a little bit more. Yes, they're still missing players, but you get a better sense of what this thing's going to look like when the key guys are out there for the most part. So I tend to agree. And I think it's worth saying now that we're at this point in the season, like we'll start to feel that more. So we'll see what it looks like moving forward. Cavaliers obviously back at it. They're here one more time during this homestand on Sunday. Who are they playing on Sunday?
Sunday they got the Clippers.
That's right. The Clippers coming to town. Ty Lue will be here. Then they go on the road for a few. They're back the following Sunday against the Celtics. And then some big games coming up, obviously Western Conference. So I know Wemby and company. We'll see if Wemby plays on December 5th, but there's some big ones coming up as well. By the way, tonight being one of the Emirates Cup games, Cavaliers winning by 11 points helps them in the big picture. I know the
big last couple buckets by the Pacers, though, by the way, because that changed it from a 15-point win for the Cavs to an 11-point win.
Yeah.
The Pacers have been eliminated. We know that. But.
Yeah. Raptors won tonight, so they win the group.
Okay.
And I believe now it's going to come down to like the scoring margin in that last game for the group. So we'll see what that looks like. We'll see if the Cavs haven't really taken the cup very seriously, if we're being honest with ourselves. This first couple of years, it's been a thing. They got bigger fish to fry, which is understandable.
We got a commemorative cup
but
tonight.
For those Cup fans out there, the Emirates Cup fans out there, they're still in the mix. It comes down to one more game, and we'll see what that looks like here down the play. I don't have the exact math in my head of what needs to happen, but there's going to be some sort of scoring margin that comes into play.
We'll figure it out.
So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with us here post game and staying up late with us as well. Make sure if you haven't already, head on over to Cavs Roundtable. I have some observations and takeaways from this game up over there. We also have more content from tonight, all the post game press conferences that we had. at the Cavs Roundtable YouTube channel, where most of you are probably watching this right now. And we got more of this stuff with you throughout the season, more post-game conversations. The pod, obviously, exclusively itself is just the individual episodes each week, too. So we appreciate you guys' support. We appreciate you guys following along. And we'll have plenty more for you throughout the season. So make sure that you keep on following along with all things Cleveland Cavaliers with Cavaliers Roundtable.